Flash showtime with Triple G. Brace yourself for the things you'll see. From comic books to toys and more. And all cartoons that we adore. Pop culture, flicks and geeky stuff. We love it all and can't get enough. So settle in and enjoy the show. Please hit like and subscribe before you go.
How's it hanging, YouTube? It's Peter here, TripleG Comics, and I am joined, as ever, by my good pal, Super Sorrell. How are you, Sorrell?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Me and you are doing a lot of shows together now, Sorrell. We're starting to broadcast on both channels, which is fab. We're going to have to get ourselves a little funky intro, because it doesn't feel right doing a Triple G. Well, I'll leave that one with us, and I'll pull together a little intro for the pair of this wasn't planned. We didn't plan this. And then Sorrell last night texted us and said, "Oh my God, are you watching Doctor Who?" And it was like, I'll have to watch it now. And we decided we had to jump on live, didn't we? And just chat a little bit Who. Yeah. Because last night, Sorrell was yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to get into it.
It was good. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into spoilers and everything. It's awesome. Yeah. But I tell you what, as well, it was also a very interesting last 40 hours because Netflix had their stream as well, and that was a cringe fest. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So exactly. So what we're going to do today, ladies and gents, is we're going to chat a bit about Doctor Who. Now I know there are some real big Who fans out there, so you're welcome to the discussion. I know it's not also everybody else's cup of tea. So we are going to briefly go over some of the kind of the things that have happened over the last season. Really want you guys in the chat to be jumping in with your ideas and your views and your theories about what all of this shenanigans means in Who. And then we are also going to talk, as Sorrell says, about a whole host of other stuff that's happened. We've both pulled some slides together. We're going to look a little bit about toy news as well, and all kinds of jazz. Before we get into the comments to say hello to people, I was just flicking through the old trailers on YouTube today, and I don't know if you've got a slide on it, so I don't want to spoil it. We'll talk about it later if you have. Have you seen the trailer for the new Dexter series?
No, I haven't. That wasn't on my thing. Is it look good?
Oh, well, I'm a massive Dexter fan. Huge Dexter fan. And they've officially put out the trailer for the sequel. So with Dexter waking up in the hospital. It's got Uma Thurman in it, Peter Dinklage. There's some big name actors in it. The trailer is not what I was expecting. So I think this is going to be a real fun series. It looks like the basic premise is Peter Dinklage is a multi-millionaire serial killer fanatic fan. So he assembles all of these serial killers into his mansion, one of which is Dexter, to do something, to do like a fan con, serial killer con or something. And then obviously that won't sit well with Dexter. So yeah, it looks interesting. It looks interesting. Okay, before we get into the Who stuff, let's have a little look-see at who we've got in the chat. And ladies and gents, just so you're aware, we are streaming over on my channel and on Super Sorrell's channel, so please do hit thumbs up on both videos and give us a like and a sub. But you'll see that on our chat, we see both streams chats. You might not see them, so there might be some comments that you don't notice, so we'll try and bring up as much as we can. But we've got AB Productions. Thank you very much for joining, AB. What's that an image of? What's that?
I don't quite know what that is.
Is it a bit of cheese? Is it a chair? Yeah, we know AB. What is that? What is that? I'm not sure. We've got Fuzzy of the Dunlop. Always good to see you, Fuzzy. I don't ever want to hear Peter talk about oversaturation again. We've done a lot lately. We have done a lot, yeah, but it's good stuff. And we've got Sorrell. Nice to see you, Sorrell. We've got Joshy Boy Toys. Always good to see you, Joshy. I hope you're doing well, bud. We've got loads of comments already. Thank you so much, everybody. We've got Brendan. Nice to see you, Brendan.
Hi, Brendan.
And Fuzzy's not a fan of my intro songs. We'll not sing on the intro, Fuzzy. We'll just do a general intro. There are going to be some spoilers, AB, but we'll tell you when we're going to give away anything big, all right? Yeah. So we'll talk general stuff, and then we'll tell you when we're going to do
BBC big. Posted pictures like minutes after the episode.
Well, I mean, I want to get into that discussion actually, Sorrell, because it's crazy. I mean, literally everywhere I've looked today on my phone and stuff, it's just splattered by like you see, official sources everywhere, which is just strange, really. We've got Johnny. Nice to see you, Johnny. Thank you for joining. We've got Sean, panels and a half pint. There are those who like Doctor Who and there are those who are wrong. Sean, I know, has watched it. He's got some views as well. So, yeah. AB, imagine a Doctor Who movie. We kind of got one, didn't we?
Got a TV movie, didn't we, back in the day?
What was he called again? The actor
he goes to the conventions a lot, but I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But he goes to all the cons up north.
He only did the one movie. I can't remember what he's called.
It was a TV movie, wasn't it? It wasn't a cinema movie.
I think it had one of these kind of limited releases kind of thing, you know. But yeah, is it Paul something or other? Paul McCain or McCann or something?
Like that.
Someone will tell me in the chat, I'm sure. Fuzzy, I love theorising about something I've never watched. Apologies if my questions go awry. Fuzzy, you can ask anything you want, mate. Anything you want. Making a point of not watching any trailer, going blind for all the upcoming, especially Stranger Things. Oh, we're going to touch on Stranger Things in a bit.
There's no spoilers, though, to be fair. No. I'm not giving anything away. It's just that we're just going to talk in general about the Tudum event and what they showed.
Paul McGann, that's it. Thank you, Fuzzy.
That's the one.
Thank you, Fuzzy. We've got Andy, Perpetual Comics. Nice to see you, Andy. I'll pass the time by punching myself in the face while you're discussing Doctor Who case. Obviously a big fan. Obviously a big fan of The Who. AB is saying it's an owl plush.
Ah, okay.
Ah, see it now. Yes, I got you.
Yeah.
I've got you. I've got Jess. Nice to see you, Jess. Who, wherever you are, wishing. I see what you did there. Wishing you all well. Yeah. I miss Paul McCann. I believe, and it was a TV movie. Sorry, no cinema. Yeah. He only did the one. I could try to think who was the bad guy in that because it was the Master, wasn't it? But I can't.
It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Yeah. Fuzzy. First question: did Mephisto still? We're still waiting for Mephisto from one.
Still waiting for Mephisto, even though Disney, technically have distribution rights. No Mephisto, no crossovers, no timey wimey stuff.
No, not a thing. Not a thing. Jess, shots fired straight away. Season 1 and 2, the biggest load of twaddle since Doctor Who began. An insult to two true Doctor Who fans. It's certainly divisive, isn't it? It's certainly, it certainly has split the crowd, shall we say. Shall we do Who first, and then we'll get into the news?
Other stuff.
We'll start off with a bit of a review. We are going to be talking Who, as we've said. There are going to be spoilers, but we'll tell you when there are big spoilers. So if you haven't seen the last episode yet, we'll tell you before we start talking about that. Bit of Who then. So, Sora, what's your background with Who? Are you a Who fan at heart?
So I never watched the originals as a kid or anything like that. I got into it when Eccleston turned up, and I've watched it ever since. I've stuck with every Doctor for every season, even though the ones I didn't really like, I still watch just to keep up with because you do get cameos from other characters from other series and things like that. So, but it's a program I watch with my dad. He watched the original Doctor Who's, and then he watched the new stuff. So like when we meet characters from a long time ago, I tend to go, who's that? And he gives me a quick rundown. So I need to watch it with my dad just to understand who half of the older characters are in it. Yeah, but no, I enjoy Doctor Who. It's fun.
I'm exactly the same. I mean, Sylvester McCoy and things like that were knocking around when I was younger. And I remember watching it, but I cannot remember any detail from it in terms of that era. Do you know what I mean? I was aware of it. I watched it probably, but it wasn't something I was massively into, not like Star Trek and stuff like that. Yeah. And I started watching it with the relaunch with the Christopher Eccleston, and I've watched every season ever since, and my love and interest has peaked and troughed as we've gone through. Yeah. I enjoyed Torchwood, I enjoyed some of the spin-offs and things, but yeah, it's been a bit of a wild ride for Who fans, I think. We are going to talk about season 2 in a little bit more detail. We're going to touch briefly on each of the episodes, but before we do that, we're going to put something to rest finally, myself and Sorrell and you guys in the chat. We want to know who is the best Doctor, who's been the best Doctor of all time. Now, I'm going to be harsh on this. You can only give one name. Okay. You can only give one name. So in the chat, ladies and gents, let we know. Fuzzy's link to Doctor Who. Sylvester McCoy, I like the crisps. My understanding is Fuzzy did the TV show and then he branched out after that. That's why he quit being the Doctor and launched his delicious range. Yeah. We've got Jack. Nice to see you, Jack. So, let me know in the chat, please, who do you think is the best Doctor? I've
got a feeling me and you are going to have Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre.
For God's sake. I think me and you were going to say the same name. I think because it sounds like you've been following it from the relaunch, like me. So I've got to feel. I don't think one of your favorites is going to be the older Doctors. I think it's going to be one of the newer Doctors.
Absolutely. So, and I am conflicted, which is why I've said one name only, because I like a lot of them. I have to say, I do like a lot of them.
I think I know who you're going to say, but my favorite is Matt Smith.
Yeah, quirky.
I loved the whole storyline with him and Amy Pond and Rory. That was my favorite season of Doctor Who. You know, he was the guy that waited, you know, with the, you know, as the Roman guard, and you know, I love that entire series about Amy Pond and how she, you know, became, you know, and they disappeared at the end with the, you know, with the angels, and such a good series, that one.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that run. So, I mean, David Tennant is my favorite. I have to say the current Doctor is very, very near. And I might be one of the few people who I absolutely loved the Tennant and Donna time frame. I loved Donna
was good
in
as
it.
well.
I thought Catherine Tate would be horrific in it, but I just think it worked. I just liked the humour of it, you know. So yeah, probably some of my favourite episodes were with the pair of them.
Would you say that Donna Noble's your favourite companion? Or have you got a slide on that later about companions?
No, I haven't. Okay. No, but I like the humour of Donna. I really liked Ruby as well.
Yeah, I love Amy Pond. But my favourite was always Billie Piper. I always loved her. So yeah.
Well,
she was my childhood crush as well, you know, because you weren't doing it.
Sure, everybody's childhood crush. I mean, sure, yeah, incredible. Just going to quickly jump to the chat, Sorrell. Fuzzy's saying Sylvester McCoy, we mentioned that. Andy, Doctor Strange. Tom Baker by Brendan. Yeah, he was very, very good as well. Andy saying Doom. And Octopus. Andy's not watching a lot of Who. You can see that. You can see. Jack, who's the best? It's like asking which limb is your favourite. yeah. Cyrant, are you excited for the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie? Now, you've got an interesting panel here, AB, because you've got two opposite spectrums, really. You've got me, who knows very little about Five Nights at Freddy and was sold that it's a great movie and went to see the first film and thought it was pretty poor. And then you've got Sorrell, who loves the stuff, don't you?
I'm slightly mildly obsessed. I've got a video coming out tonight, and I've bought a bunch of new Funkos that I said I wasn't going to buy from Five Nights at Freddy's, so I'll be showing that off tonight. But Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah, I'm really excited for the new movie. I'm hoping we're going to get some new animatronics in this one. I'm hoping it leads into Sister Location. So that's from the games. That's one of the games is Sister Location.
I'm hoping they lean more into the horror element, because that's what I went to see. You know, the scary stuff.
They're not going to. It's the same with the Poppy's Playtime movie when that eventually comes out. They're gonna always have a PG-13 rating because it's the children that collect the merch, even though they shouldn't play the games. The games are highly inappropriate, but they sell the merch to the kids, the cuddlies, the pop vinyls. So even when Poppy comes out, it's going to be the same. It's going to be a PG-13 horror movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got Matthew Lillard in it, and I like Matthew Lillard. So yeah, I will no doubt go and see it for the horror channel, One Good Scare that I'm on.
Yeah.
But am I excited? No. Sorrell, I would say, is most definitely excited. Yeah. Sean is saying Tennant, but there's a close second, which made the decision difficult. Howard and Sean, who's your close second? Let me know who your second is. Eccles, without any doubt, the revamped Doctor Who. Otherwise, too many good ones in the classic Doctor Who eras. Not very often you hear people really kind of saying that Eccles was the favourite. I never really warmed to. I don't know if I just didn't warm to him as a person, if that makes sense. Because I've seen a lot of interviews with him, like when he did Thor: Dark of the World, and I know you've got to separate the art from the actor kind of thing, but he didn't come across as a particularly pleasant individual. He wasn't very jolly.
No, and he fell out with the Doctor Who cast for a long time. Like, he fell out with the writers and the directors, and so I know that he's only just kind of made up with them recently.
Yeah,
I think he is coming back for a guest appearance.
Do you think? I mean, you had a lot of.
Well, yeah, because it's coming up to the anniversary of the revamp.
Right.
It's a big birthday's coming up. I think it's 20 odd years nearly now since it started again. So I think they're going to be doing a thing.
Interesting. And he's just firing loads of doctors out with
Dr. Jennifer Melfi, that's from Sopranos.
When are we doing Hot Wheels?
So and on my live the other day, Midnight Drift said that if I reviewed a Hot Wheels toy, because he loves Hot Wheels, that he would donate 20 quid to a children's charity. So it's coming next week, mate. I will be doing one. You just got to bear with us. Obviously, I film like 5-6 days in advance, so it'll take a few days before that video comes online. But yes, it will happen.
Good. I haven't got any Hot Wheels in my collection. That's something I might need to invest in.
I'm tempted to start a collection of like diecast, like the Turtles wagon and like famous vehicles.
Yeah, because Hot Toys did a whole host of Marvel vehicles and things for a while. And I fancied some of them, but Doc McStuffins.
Doc McStuffins.
Andy's on fire tonight. On fire. One thing I've noticed: the companions always have quirky names. Yeah, they do. They do. And so, there's been some great ones. Just quickly scanning the chat. Sorry if you spot any I'm missing that you think we need to bring up, just let us know. Sheldon Cooper, yeah. We've got Chris in the chat. Nice to see you, Chris. Dear Hoovins, I've spent 4 years building the broken season. It's a return to what made Doctor Who unforgettable. Mystery, fear, heart. Ooh, don't know what that's about, Chris. Drop where if it's a book you've written or something like that, drop a link in the chat and we'll definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. Jess is saying, played some of the original Five Nights and yeah, it was fun. The movie is not getting such good reviews stateside. I do like a good slasher movie. I'm a horror fan, as I know Sorrell is as well. The movie didn't do it for me, Jess. The movie didn't do it for me.
No, the movie only briefly touched on the lore of the video game. They kind of kept a lot out of it because it's, like I say, it's highly inappropriate for the younger audience. Yeah. But they touched on it a little bit. Eccles cakes, lovely.
Eccles cakes, love a good Eccles cake. Love a good. Chris is telling me a little bit about these. Is it a book you've written, Chris? Let me know, mate. Sean, second was Sylvester McCoy. Yeah, love a bit of Sylvester McCoy. We've got Figure Fight Club. Nice to see you, Figure Fight Club. Hey, hope you're well. Jack Eccleston does Doctor Who on audio, but has said he'll never come back to TV as long as the current production team is placed. Yeah. He also declined to be part of the 20th anniversary. Sure, I saw he was at a con or something, and he was asked about that, and he was not guarded in any way, shape, or form about giving his views on some of the current showrunners and things like that, which was quite let's have a look. Double one side, nice to see you. Upset is the wrong word, but I felt so let down. Yeah,
I do see that. I do see that. Although I think Miss, I don't think she's gone because Mrs. What's her face is still kicking about. Flood.
I would be very. I mean, we're going to get to the last episode in a bit, but I feel that was a massive waste of a popular character because she was doing great in that role.
If we're going to get to that in a bit, I'll save my views on it. But Flood is still kicking about in the universe. So
yeah. Okie dokie. Let's have a look. See, Andy says, "I see you. Phew. Have we missed one of your comments, Fuzzy? If we have, I apologise." Chris is saying it's a graphic novel I'm writing and creating. Ooh, excellent. Right, Chris, cool. Drop a link on Instagram or in here, and we'll certainly have a look at it or review it for you, mate. That would be great. Andy, Peter needs all the views he can get. I certainly do. I'm not like Sorrell here. Sorrell is near 100,000 subs, which is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. So great work, Sorrell. Absolutely great work.
Thank you.
Okay, let's try and jump back on this because we've got a lot to get through. We're going to skip through some of this. We are going to touch on each of the episodes. Sorrell, interested in your views. Guys in the chat, just let us know whether you enjoyed or didn't enjoy each of these episodes. But we're not going to spend too long on each one, or else we'll be here a long, long time.
Yeah.
Series started with the Robot Revolution, which introduces us to a new companion who I loved. I really liked it. I love the doctor and nurse, as a nurse myself. Loved the doctor-nurse dynamic. I thought that was really, really cool. What did you think of this episode?
It was a good, solid episode, I thought. The robots were a bit weird, but you get it by the end and understand why. But yeah, it's just an overall cool episode. And I like those designs of those robots, something a little bit different. Some new sort of enemies, if you will, for the Doctor. It's good.
Yeah. It got quite dark at the end, didn't it? Because it felt a little bit clunky at the start. Then you get the kind of the reveal, and it was a little bit horrific. So yeah, I thought this was a good start to the series, good introduction to
Oh
a
yeah, because
new
that's the one
companion.
where a boyfriend's inside the machine, isn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah,
yeah,
that was a bit, a bit intense.
yeah.
That.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. So I enjoyed that one. The looks. Now, this is my problem with Doctor Who. Okay, and there's a few of these as we'll go through. I'm an older gentleman. I love Doctor Who for the strangeness and stuff, but then at times it goes a little bit too silly for me. I saw the clips and stuff for this, and I thought, I'm going to hate this. This isn't going to be for me at all. But I absolutely loved this episode.
Yeah,
I thought it was tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
And they even touched on the there was a lot of people talking about obviously this Doctor obviously being the colour he was and stuff. They obviously had that thing of they're in America during the 1960s.
Yeah.
Segregation was still a thing in America at that time, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, like they were saying, like they'd be upset if he just walked into that restaurant normally, like because they were in that diner, weren't they? And it was a white diner, and he walked into it with her and stuff. And they were saying like the bartender's like, "I'll turn a blind eye" or whatever. That was weird. And then obviously that villain as well. I thought he was really cool. They've got some of the pantheon gods in this series, and I really like them.
I hadn't realised until after the episode that it was Alan Cummings who did the voice for the.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool. And I thought the use of the animation coming out of the cinema screen and stuff was excellent. And the bit of third wall breaking, I guess you'd call it, when they come into the sitting room of the people watching Doctor Who, I thought was interesting. You know, when they had that kind of discussion. I thought, that was very cool. Probably my favourite episode of the season is this one, the Well. This was just straight out horror, I thought.
It was.
I thought it was creepy and spooky, and it had a great vibe to it. If you haven't watched Doctor Who, guys, this is the episode from this season I'd advise you picking up on. This is basically they go to a planet which is decimated, and there's this one lone survivor. And basically when you, out the corner of your eye when you look at her, you see something behind her. And it's basically there's an entity attached to her in some way. What did you think of this one?
I like the whole don't look behind, don't look at the thing behind and all that stuff. It was a great horror episode. We've not had a horror or a darker episode like that for a long time. So I enjoyed that.
And I think they're the episodes that I tend to lean towards more. So this and the Weeping Angels when they first came and those kind of stuff. This felt like proper scary sci-fi to me.
See,
you know,
this is why I love Doctor Who though, because there are episodes like that are kind of more into the like the Angels and some of the darker stuff, but then they balance it out with the silly and the light and that's what I like about Doctor Who, because it's a family show, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not all dark and dingy. I do like some of the silly.
Yeah, it jumps, doesn't it, quite often between really silly, campy stuff to real proper horror, which I really appreciate. Then we get Lucky Day, which is the Rose story. The Ruby Sunday story. I thought this was heartbreaking. This nearly made me bubble. I thought this was a really sad story. So this is the one where you see his previous companion. She's setting out in a relationship, and it's about basically falling in love with this guy, and he shows an interest. And by the end of it, we find out it's all just a sucker punch, really, and he's set her up and things. I thought this was a tremendous episode that didn't have the Doctor in it, but was strong. What did you think on that one?
Yeah, this proved that you don't always need the Doctor for a Doctor Who style show. You can have the companions and unit and the stories of other characters. It doesn't always need to revolve around the Doctor. And I think that's what they've done. Because did you see the trailer at the end of this week's episode for the new spin-off?
Yeah.
So that's clearly where they're going, isn't it?
Yeah. Separate.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, separate kind of spin-offs that don't necessarily involve them. Which, so I enjoyed this one. Okay. The story and the engine. I have to say this is probably my least favourite episode of the series. Yeah. It just didn't flow well for me. I like the idea, the gods of stories, kind of thing. But I don't know. It just felt a bit out of place. What did
I,
you think on this
I
one?
didn't like the concept of the episode. I like the idea of the villain being like the story thing, but then when he started turning into this thing and he had a spider and it was in space,
Yeah.
and that was just going too far for me. I was like, that's just a bit out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm
So
cool with cartoon characters being evil, but when you start having spiders in space, that's where I draw the line.
exactly. So I got quite interested at points when they were referencing like the gods of stories, because I've read some comic books about those characters and things, And then when you see the giant spider walking through like a space web, so it was like, I don't know what the hell this is about. It was a bit bonkers, I am going to come to your comment in a bit, ladies and gents. We're just going to rattle through these episodes to get to the final, and before we talk about the final, we'll skim through the comments and pick some up. Now, Rylan,
this was my favorite episode, believe it or not.
Really?
I love the well. Like you say, I do also like the silly campy side of Doctor Who, and I thought this hit those notes perfectly.
So, knowing me as you do, Sorrell, I went into this episode having seen the trailers. I'm not a big Eurovision Song Contest fan, I have to say.
Yeah,
but having seen the trailers, having seen Rylan was going to be it and stuff, and I thought this is going to be the episode that just turns me off completely, because I cannot be chewed with this kind of silliness, I absolutely loved it. I don't think it was as good as The Well, but I thought this was a cracking episode. It totally surprised us, to be perfectly honest.
I love that it showed the Doctor when he thought that he'd lost the companion, and he just turned, and he's like, I will hunt you down through all of time and space to find you. Like, when he had that nasty side of it, I loved that. And I thought Noguchi played that so well, that he went from the happy, lovely Doctor that we've known to just being that darker Doctor. He played both sides of it so well.
See, I think he plays the character so well in terms of he's on a knife edge quite often, and we see that with a lot of scenes where all of a sudden he just snaps for no. So, for example, in the finale, we'll talk about the finale in a minute, but just whilst we're on this particular point, there's a bit where the character from season 1, who is the lady who now runs the Time Hotel, is talking to him, and they're having a lovely conversation, and it's all friendly and stuff. And then I think she says something about your daughter doesn't exist, and he snaps in like a second and like jumps at her and says, "How dare you say that to me? How dare?" And it's like, Christ, he like goes from nothing to 100 very quickly. But no, I thought this was a cracking episode, much better than I expected.
I honestly think they're building to something with that, with the fact that we've seen him do that a lot. I think they're definitely building something there.
Yeah. Whether we see it pan out now, though.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing, really. And then we get to the season finale, really, two-parter season finale. Just before we touch on that, we are going to quickly jump to the chat. Sean is saying Peter Capaldi is highly underrated. I liked the Grumpy Doctor, I have to say. Not my favourite, but I did like him. You're not a fan?
I think it's because I remember him from Skins. I remember him being
Skins, or
it was the dad in Skins.
Ah, was he?
It was the dad in Skins, yeah. And I just remember him from that being horrible. And I think that he always plays the grumpy characters.
Yeah.
That's what he plays well.
I quite enjoyed him, but I love the stuff afterwards that, this guy is loving life as a Doctor Who actor, because he's very positive with the fans and things. And, he seems to be a guy who's not left the series in under any kind of negativity. He's happy about being the Doctor. So, I love that. Bethany's saying 90,000 is way too low for you, Sorrell. Absolutely. Lux gave me a Bendy and the Ink Machine vibe.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. Andy's saying 100,000. You'll have to have security when we visit Doncaster. Absolutely, yeah. That's why I'm going. Amis,
you're my heavy
security. Yeah, I'm your heavy. Yeah. David Tennant as the new companion, potentially. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
We'll talk about that in a bit. Fuzzy saying that my viewers are disturbing at times. But I love yous all, Fuzzy. I love yous all. Jess, Robot Revolution. I want to join a revolution with the metal toys from Hong Kong. Clunky, childish, and a 5 out of 10. So a midway point for that one. Chris is saying thanks for the shout out. No problem at all, Chris. No problem at all. The Gallifreyan Knight. Oh, that's a nice title. I like that. I like that. The theory with Billy is she will be a bad wolf doctor, as Rose previously absorbed the TARDIS energy. If this is the case, who would you like to follow as the actual doctor? We're going to get to that in a little bit, but that's a real
I've got
interesting
loads
one.
to talk about that.
Part of my problem, and I'm going to need the chat's help with this, Sorrel, and your help, is I am an older guy. And I remembered watching, obviously I watched all the seasons of Doctor Who, but I do forget. So I remember the whole Bad Wolf thing. I remember the whole, every episode was linked to Bad Wolf. But I cannot really remember what the conclusion of it all was and what it was referenced to. So I'm going to need, before we get a new season, to either go back and rewatch or for someone to give us a bit of a rundown on it, Sean is saying, the Well episode was a great horror episode. Loved the end of it. Yeah, it left it really quite spooky. I misspeak there. Fourth wall. Yeah, not third wall. You're absolutely right. Andy's having a go at me buying doodles. How dare you, Andy? How dare you? Speaking of, I've had a bit of a run of bad luck. Everybody knows that watches my channel. I've had a bit of a run of bad luck. My luck's changing. So not only did I get my money back for my fake Jim Lee signature yesterday, the rubbish Mark Spears CGC book I've put up on eBay and someone's bid on it. So I might be getting a shot of that. So yeah, nice, rather pleased with that. Tom, nice to see you, Tom. Thank you for joining. Jess is saying, well. The only depth to the episode, an adaptation from the episode Midnight original, much better. 5 out of 10.
I'm getting the feeling Jess isn't a fan.
Jess isn't loving this series. Each to their own, Jess. You're more than welcome to your opinion. Yep. I have a feeling in the special Doctor Who Unleashed they will announce the new Doctor. We're going to get to that because I'm not convinced we've had the new Doctor. No. Jack, really enjoyed the season. Had 1 or 2 eps worked for me. That end, yeah, exactly. Ginger Geordie geriatric. Wow. AB hated the story about the engine. My least favourite, and I think Sorrell's as well. Let's have a look. The story about the engine, it was good, but I'd read a lot of Neil Gaiman, and this was almost like an extension. I think I felt the same, Sean. It did feel a bit like a Gaiman book. Rylan is still a thing. He's going on for centuries, Fuzzy. Basically, the cryo freeze him every year, and he comes out for the Eurovision Song Contest.
He would do that as well. That's the sad part.
He would. He'd sell his. Yeah. Jess, Planet of the Spiders, much better suspense entertainment. This one, 2 out of 10. Tom Baker, always the most witty. Love a bit of Tom Baker. Yeah. I do love Tom Baker. Capaldi, I loved Clara and Bill in that season. A lot of missed potential, really, at today's stories. Yeah, I think some of the writing hasn't been the best for some of them, has it? Definitely going to explore in the Bad Wolf, says Jack. AB, I hated the story about the engine. Yeah. Jess, future Doctor Who has to have a young, middle-aged, vibrant, entertaining, and charismatic Doctor. Some good attitude. We've got Dr. Mad Studio. Thank you very much for joining. Hello, Hammerheads.
Hello.
I stopped watching Doctor Who 10 years ago and I've never looked back. A combination of factors pushed me away. Lost interest. The fandom became increasingly toxic. That is true. Doctor Who and Star Wars quite often seems to have incredibly toxic fan bases.
Seems to be going that way with many fan bases these days. That are why us nerds have turned toxic all of a sudden.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the final 2 episodes. Wish World and Reality War. We get the Rihanna, not the Rihanna. That's she's a singer. Arani. Rihanna. That would be a better entertainment. So anyway, we'll get the Rani. We'll get the bi-generation thing. What did you think? What did you think of the first 2 episodes? We're not going to do spoilers just yet about the end. We're going to do that after this. So what did you think about in general about these episodes?
I liked it. It basically was a culmination of both series. Because you had callbacks to series 1 with Miss Flood and stuff, and it clearly did build up, which is great to see. The writing did intertwine where it needed to, and I enjoyed it. It was very good. I liked the fact that he had a daughter, or not, as we found out towards the end of that episode. But yeah, no, overall I liked it. It was a bit weird, but it was fun. It was good.
I was a little confused with Wish World, the first episode, but it kind of worked through. Thoroughly enjoyed the finale. Now, I'm a very simple guy. I've seen lots of comments online about, oh, the CGI was terrible and blah, blah, blah.
Always has been in Doctor Who.
It always has been. And I'm normally one who jumps on CGI and moans about it when it's big budget movies. For Doctor Who, I'm much more relaxed about it. And I thought the CGI for the big bad at the end was okay.
It was good.
I didn't mind it, you know.
This should have been shown as a two-parter. I think having it as Wishworld, then Reality War, made Wishworld seem very weird and out of place. But you needed the second part to conclude the story. So it would have been cool if BBC would have just smashed that together as part 1 and part 2, like maybe one on Saturday night, one on Sunday night or something.
Yeah. It would have flowed better, I think.
Yeah, waiting a week just seemed a bit... Because you had to remember what happened in that first episode again to conclude the story.
And what did you think about that trinity of bad guys we've got there?
I thought they were good. I enjoyed it. I don't think Mrs. Flood's gone. Obviously, she's disappeared into the universe somewhere. We don't know about... Because like by generation, as they're calling it, the Rani got munched by the big bad at the end. Yeah. But that didn't... Miss Flood didn't cease to exist because obviously she said that she was bound to the Rani because the Rani was the future version. But then Rani got eaten. But I thought Miss Flood would fade away or something, like because she was bound to the other one. If the original dies, they all die. A bit like the vampire kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but she didn't. So she's still kicking about. So she's still the Rani kicking about in the universe.
Yeah. I thought they played it well. I did enjoy. I hope we see all three of those back in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun episode. Okay, ladies and gents, we're gonna put some spoilers up now. So if you haven't seen the last episode and you've not seen any of the spoilers, which are all over the place, look away for a couple of minutes whilst we talk spoilers, because we did have some pretty interesting things happen at the end of the Reality War. We're going to start off with a bit of a callback, which was good old Geordie. Geordie makes an appearance in the episode. What did you think of that then?
She was needed at the end of that episode because both of those doctors faced not hate, but they faced, what do you want to call it, from the fan base. Yeah. Because she was a woman, the first female doctor, and he was the first black doctor. Let's face it head on. Let's go for it head on, shall we?
Yeah.
And so she kind of came back, and it was kind of a thing, like a good ending arc for both of their characters, I think. Because obviously he told her he said "I love you" to her as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Like, as in he loved himself, because he doesn't say it enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that.
I liked seeing her back. It felt, I'm starting to worry that it's a bit like Marvel at the moment, that every episode's got to have some kind of guest appearance, call back to an old film kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It was nice seeing her back. I don't know that it was needed necessarily.
I honestly thought it was going to be Tennant.
Yeah, so did I. But I think he makes a point, doesn't he? He says, at least it's not that bloke again.
Other guy.
All the time, you know. I feel for Geordie because I think she had a really bad run of really crappy writing. She never really kind of gelled, did she? I don't think. So it was a nice kind of opportunity for her to come back, I guess, and say farewell. We've got tons of comments, guys. We've got loads to get through, so I am just going to jump around a little bit, and we'll come to some of your comments in a bit, all right? But yeah, it was nice to see her. But then we get, if you're a Who fan, we've been talking about the fact that this gentleman is leaving the series for a long time. It's never been 100% confirmed. But big spoilers, at the end of this episode, we do get a regeneration, which I don't think was altogether unexpected. I kind of thought we were going to get a Christmas special where it might happen. I wasn't necessarily going into this episode expecting it to happen.
I felt bad for his ending, though, because obviously he did that ending because somebody was missing from the world. And he went back to save the one little girl that he thought was his daughter that turned out not to be his daughter in the end.
Yeah.
It's oh, God. That was a bit heart-wrenching, wasn't it?
Bit of a kick. And then we get the regeneration. Now, so it had been spoilt in some newspapers, but we get Billie Piper back. So Billie Piper was obviously a companion in the first series, and then I think, was it up to season 4? I think she was with David
she stayed quite a while.
Yeah.
I'll let you say. Go on. I'll let you have your piece.
I mean, it's interesting because I did a live show I can't remember. I do that bloody many. It was last week, or it might have even been on Saturday's show or whatever. And a pal of mine, Connie, who's a big Who fan, made this comment, which she meant as a joke because I think she'd seen something ridiculous in the Sun newspaper or something about Billy coming back, and I laughed because I thought that's just stupid. Of course it's not. And she laughed because she didn't think it was going to happen. And then this happened, and I was like, what in the hell is going on here? But there are a few key things here, aren't there? And I'm sure you're going to have some thoughts on this. I cannot remember how it ended for Billy, so it'll be interesting to see if that picks up. He makes a point of saying something about, I don't want to do this alone, so I don't know if that's linked to this. And then we've had, haven't we, comments made throughout lots of other episodes where the Doctor can come back to familiar faces. So Peter Capaldi had been in an episode previously in Pompeii, and he came back in that face because it's the face he remembers. So it's not to say that this is Rose back. It might just be her face. Yeah. Yes. And then the interesting thing was Doctor Who always ends, a bit like Bond with James Bond Will Return. It always ends with the tagline whenever they introduce a new Doctor as David Tennant as the Doctor, Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. This just said, and introducing Billy Piper.
Because she's not the Doctor.
As the Doctor, yeah.
No.
So what did you think? What did you think?
So Rose Tyler ended her storyline because she absorbed the TARDIS or something like that, the power of it, or something. She looked into the TARDIS, didn't she, and gained a load of powers. And David Tennant basically, I'm not sure if he took that power away or he did something to her, and then she had to be marooned on the island, on a planet with the clone of the Doctor, wasn't she? They were left there, and the idea was they could never return. So Billie Piper was effectively, for all cases, written out. Yeah, and could never return, and that's why she hasn't so far. Really, she's had a couple of guest appearances, but not many. So they did that. So this is a callback to that, isn't it? And because this series is now facing its 20th anniversary coming up, right? So she's back as just as a nod to that, I think. As you say, the TARDIS not the TARDIS. The Doctor regenerates and can use old faces that it remembers. That's where this comes from. I think in the next big thing, we're going to see her team up with Tennant because he's still kicking about. He'll appear for the special. And
sorry to interrupt you, Sorrell. Again, my brain. When we got Tennant back as the Doctor, he remained the Doctor, didn't he? He didn't become human or lose his powers or anything like that.
He biogenerated, so he's still a Time Lord. He decided to let the Doctor continue his journey, and he settled down with the nobles, basically, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
He was in their garden having dinner. I think there's going to be something where because they need to explain the bi-generation thing. I think Billie Piper and David Tennant will come back together, and there'll be a scene where they touch hands and they both go whoop, like glow gold. You know what I mean? And like it kickstarts the regeneration process. I think at the end of it, they'll come back together to make the new Doctor, and we'll get a new young-faced actor playing the Doctor going forward. She's not going to stick around. She's there for a special at Christmas or something.
Do you think they've brought her back so they can get Tennant more involved again, do you think?
Yes, 100%. Because her character spans Eccleston and Tennant. And so I think if what you read is true and that Eccleston's made up with the Doctor Who writers and things, I can imagine that he might return as well as a cameo, and then Tennant's going to be a cameo, and then that whole storyline's kind of written up, isn't it, nicely in a bow. And it'll be a way of nodding to the whole series then.
I think they're desperate to get Tennant back because they think that brings viewers back, because I think Dr. Mad Studio is quite right here saying the ratings haven't been what we'd hope this season hasn't been. I've been jumping through the comments, guys, but Dr. Mad Studio has been recommending an audio drama, so if you want to put a link to that in the chat, guys, we'll certainly check that out. But yeah, I think they're starting to worry about the ratings, aren't they? So they desperately need something to pull it back, and David Tennant would pull it back, mind you. So would Andrew not Andrew Garfield, sorry. What'd you call him? Who was after Tennant? Matt Smith. I mean, he's not really come back, I don't think, has he, for a while now?
Not for a while, but he's off gallivanting in Hollywood, and he's big and popular now with his Game of Thrones. And it would be harder to bring him back than Tennant. Tennant's not currently working.
Yeah, he's got Rivals, hasn't he, on Disney, which is a cracking series, actually. And he absolutely adores Doctor Who. Absolutely adores Doctor Who, so yeah. Jess, incoherent, weak, tepid, and lacking any real substance. Middle finger to the fans for the unholy Trinity. Sorry, apologies. In the end, it's the only two possible outcomes for Doctor Who at this point. It's either put on long-term hiatus or cancelled. Either way, I honestly don't care anymore. I think there's a lot of people probably echo that view, Dr. Mad's studio. I think my understanding was that this, hence them going back to series 1, was meant to be a kind of a hard-pressed revival, restart kind of thing. I'm not sure it's panned out how they really want
No,
it to.
I kind of thought when they brought him in, Naguti into it, they kind of did. It felt like a reset almost, like everything because like they kept calling it the new generation of Doctor. So I thought they've kind of gone away with all the old stuff. He's bi-generated now, so he's a different strand of the Doctor, if you will. And this was the new stuff going forward, but they seem to be going back to callbacks anyway. So it didn't pan out the way they were like expecting it to.
So it's really interesting. So I thought the same, and then I thought maybe I've just misunderstood stuff. I thought the whole point of the separation, the bi-generation, was to almost exercise the kind of the horror and the pain that the David Tennant kind of era Doctors and the ones following had. And that one new Doctor would be a bit more light-hearted, a bit more upbeat, more fun to engage with younger audiences. But it didn't turn out like that at all, you know?
No. If you go on to BBC iPlayer, it separates them. So you've got the original Doctor, the original run, then you've got the revival era, and then you've got Future Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's they have separated it into segments. And I thought, like you say, it was going to be like the idea was they weren't going to do all these callbacks, and going forward, Nakuti was setting up a new 10 years of the Doctor or whatever.
Yeah, because they do rely heavily on. I mean, let's be honest. The Rani, I didn't have a bloody clue who that was. I was assuming we were going to get the Master again or something like that, you know. So yeah, it is interesting that they've kind of set it up as a new launch pad, but still heavily relied on everything that's gone before. To kind of explain it. We've got Bram. Nice to see you, Bram. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Chris, why did you make it bigger? Yeah, I like that. The Joy thing was nice. Yeah, that was a nice touch when he saw the star. Again, call back to season 1, wasn't it? Did you say David Tennant is now the same age as William Hartnett when the show started? Wow.
God.
And that, again, a callback. There was a lot of things in this finale that were left teased, like who the management of the Time Hotel are, the fact that Doctor Who's granddaughter keeps appearing, and we've not seen anything else of that. You know, it feels like there's a lot of stuff that's not that's not answered.
Yeah.
But no real plan to answer it, because we've not had an announcement, have we, about a Christmas special or a new season or anything like that?
Not yet. We will do though.
Yeah,
There's a special coming up soon, isn't there? There's a big Doctor Who special coming up. Not an episode, but like a one of those like behind the scenes where it'll have a host, and they usually introduce the new Doctor there, don't they? Or give us a sneak peek of the new season or whatever. Yeah. They'll be doing stuff in the background.
Yeah. Fuzzy's saying, explains why Phil Messenger is saying good shout on Billy. Just quickly. Oh, we've got Kenneth. Nice to see you, Kenneth. Hope you're well. Yeah, Jess is saying it does say at the end introducing Billy, not the new Doctor. If they bring back Tennant, as you say, the 2 into 1 would be good. Yeah, I think Jess, you know, much like yourself, there are a lot of people who haven't particularly enjoyed this last season. No. Whatever they do going forward, they need to try and reconnect with the fan base, don't they? Because I've seen a lot of stuff about people walking away from Doctor Who.
Well, I assumed when they did the bi-generation thing, it was the reason for that, I thought, was because like the comic books would then feature Tennant as the Doctor, and they could do the audio dramas, the other stuff behind the episodes, and he could gallivant around with whoever he wanted in time without a TARDIS just wandering around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they didn't end up following up with that, so it just seems a bit pointless at this point.
I kind of felt, if I'm being really honest, that Tennant's Doctor was completely forgotten in these 2 episodes. Like, he didn't appear or anything like that.
You thought he would turn up when everything went wrong.
The Doctor's still shouting on about, you know, I'm the last of the Time Lords. Technically, you're right, because it's the same person, but there's 2 of you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It was like he was just forgotten. Yeah, I agree. I think it was I enjoyed this. I have to say, I did enjoy this series. I really did. Lux was a great episode. Yeah. Sean's got a theory. My theory is the regeneration of the Doctor is the TARDIS's way of helping him and transferring possibly an element of Rose to him as a result of her looking into the heart of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Therefore, temporary Doctor only. Yeah, I think it's definitely temporary. Chris is just saying Tennant had to leave Rose in a separate universe with her father and mother, but couldn't ever see her again, or all the flakes would come back.
Billy Daleks, not Flakes. He did correct himself.
Yeah,
And then, but then he did come in after that saying Flakes is about right though.
Yeah.
I like this guy. They made me laugh. But yeah, to be fair, could they afford Billy Piper? I know she's a big fan of the series anyway, but could they afford her for a series? Because she has in recent years had a lot of success with television programs and films, and she's not been doing too bad for herself. So I don't think they could afford her caliber, if I'm honest. Going back now,
David Tennant must command a decent price as well.
Yeah, you thought.
I don't know.
I think he's the kind of guy that would take a pay cut just to do it, though. He does love it a bit too much, doesn't he?
I'm interested in who everyone thinks would give us a decent future Doctor Who. Who, and remember, it could be a long hiatus. Yeah, absolutely agree. Who would be your pick, Sorrel? Who would you like to see as a Doctor Who?
I don't think there's going to be a hiatus. Everyone keeps saying this, like he needs to go on break. It won't. It's coming back at Christmas. We'll get an announcement very soon. It will be back at Christmas. I'm telling you. It's a mainstay of the British television. It's not going away. But anyway, who do we think could be the new one? Let me have a think.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't got anybody in mind, and that's probably because every Doctor Who we've had has been a bit of a surprise to us. It's not people I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
And I quite like that. I don't want a revision of a previous Doctor, I think. I like David Tennant. I'd be happy for him to do a Christmas special or something. But give us someone new. I think Jess's comment earlier is right. I think if you're an old man like myself, you like your nostalgia and stuff, but if they want Who to continue, if they want Hugh to thrive, they need it to be a bit younger, a bit more funky, and a bit more hip. I think that's what they hoped for this last version, but didn't seem to pan out. So I don't know. I think they need to get back to probably a younger version of Doctor Who. In terms of whether it's a lady, a man, black, white, whatever, couldn't give a flying fuck.
No, me neither.
For me, I just want a good Doctor. Want a good Doctor. What about you, Sorrel? Are you similar or?
Yeah, I'm not bothered if who, what, where. You know what I mean? As long as it's the Doctor and we've got a cool new young hip actor to play it, I'm cool with that. Yeah. I always like it when they do because when Matt Smith came into it, I didn't have a clue who Matt Smith were. Like Tennant, I was already kind of familiar with. He'd already been in other things. Yeah. Same with I forgot his name again. The guy who was in Skins and that. Like I say, I remember him from other things. Whereas Matt Smith, I didn't have a clue who he was, and it ended up being a push off for his entire career. That really saw him through, and he got all the Americans interested in Doctor Who for the first time in a long time. So he got a new audience in for it. That's why Disney ended up becoming on board with it all. But as long as we get, I'd like a new younger actor again, not an older actor, a younger actor who can then thrive off of the success of it.
Absolutely. Jack said he wants a darker Doctor Who. I'm all for that as well, Jack. I've always felt, I think we're starting to see it now, you keep Doctor Who as your kind of your family friendly thing, and you split off and you do things like a better version of Torchwood, perhaps almost like an X-Files kind of thing, you know. That for me would be interesting. We've got Wayne Deacon. Nice to see you, Wayne. Fuzzy, you've also I love Michael Sheen. He's a tremendous Johnny Lee Miller from Sherlock. Johnny Lee Miller, superb actor as well. I love Sherlock. That was a great series. Chris is saying Andy Serkis. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be. Lots of people are saying Rowan Atkinson. I know he did the comic relief one, didn't he? But I'm not sure. Jason Drone could be a great Doctor. He's a long-standing TV actor who can do drama. I'm not familiar with him. What's he been in? Jack, let me know what he's been in. And okay, right.
I'm trying to think of his name. I'm Googling him right quick to get his name. Do you know who I'd love to see actually have a go at playing the Doctor? But it'll never happen because he's up in Hollywood now. But Nicholas Hoult, the guy who's going to be Lex Luthor, he's kind of got himself up in the thing again. But he came from TV. He was in Skins. That's where he came from. I mean, I'd love to see him come back to British television as the Doctor. And now he's a bit more mature and that. That would be cool.
Yeah, I love him actually. He's going to be Luthor soon, isn't he? So yeah. Jack recently went back and watched Torchwood. Still slaps. Some of the episodes of Torchwood were great. Really, really good. Rupert Grint. Yeah, you'll be finding.
Yeah. He's not done much in a while.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Yeah. Jack, that's why we have those like Missy or the Master, Conrad as a Master, future Doctor Who, tracking where the Burnt Master shifted into a non-time mode. Yeah. And what aliens would you both like? I like new stuff, I have to be honest. I kind of, I don't know what you're like, Sorrel, but I kind of feel like Daleks and Cybermen have been done to death.
They've been played out.
Yeah, and I like the darker, more scary episodes, I guess.
We've not had a Weeping Angels episode, though, since Matt Smith. So, I mean, it's been a fair few seasons for the Angels, hasn't it?
Yeah, that would be good to bring back as well. Yeah. So, I'm not a big desire to see Daleks back or Cybermen, but some of the kind of the more classic villains, I guess, would be interesting to see. Okie dokie. We then also got the trailer at the end of the episode for this. What were your thoughts on this? This is the war between land and water or something?
It was weird. They didn't even sort of announce, like, the episode ended. There wasn't like a, please take a look at this for the future of Doctor Who franchise. There was nothing that linked it to Doctor Who. You kind of just think, I assume it's Doctor Who because it came on after Doctor Who. It looks like it featured Unit, but I couldn't quite tell. But it had her in it from the Unit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is Doctor Who related, but I'm not quite sure.
It looks really interesting. I love that main actor. I can't remember his name, but he's done a lot of good stuff. He's also been in Doctor Who previously. He was on the Titanic episode with Kylie Minogue, wasn't he? This just looked very odd to me. Unit was definitely in it. I recognise some of the people from Unit in there. I don't know. I think this is going to be interesting because if this falls on its face, it's a big issue, isn't it, for Doctor Who, I think, because they'll have put time and effort into this, a lot of money. I'm going to watch it. It's 5 parts, I think, or series or something, I think.
It looked quite dark and gritty, though, didn't it? It looked quite serious.
Yeah, it looked adult, didn't it? So, I'll definitely be giving it a go. Fuzzy, I think Fuzzy, great call. Danny Dyer, Doctor Who, I would watch that.
Can you imagine Doctor Who just going, give it a break, mate?
I'm a recent convert to Danny Dyer. I used to despise the guy, but I watched him in Rivals and fell in love with him a little bit. He's superb. Declan's saying Weeping Angels were in Geordie Whittaker.
They were.
Okay,
yeah, they were.
Right.
They were.
So lots of great suggestions here from people.
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, that would be cool as well. Jack's saying the Sea Devil redesign is weak. Can't lie. I don't remember them from the original, I have to say. I'd have to go back. I think they looked more reptilian or fish-like. Did they not? They had like longer faces, I think. But yeah. You take clips from alien craft disappearing in ocean Earth and clips of them coming out of the ocean, then deliver the stories of strange, all-new aliens, not the Sea Devils. Yeah. So I think that's all the Doctor Who related stuff we're going to talk about. Lots of interesting stuff. The future is unknown really for Who. I think we're not really sure where we're going to go with it. I'm still positive. What about you, Sorrel? Are you hopeful still?
Oh yeah, always. I've liked Doctor Who, like I say, since the revival. I've been watching it this long. I doubt, I don't want it to go away. Like I say, it's classic British television.
Yeah.
For me, it falls under that, classic British. Everyone, all the Americans now, when you go abroad, always know Doctor Who.
They do.
It's like quintessentially British, like Harry Potter.
I guess my mind keeps coming back to a conversation I've had with good old Fuzzy Dunlop on a few occasions when we've been talking about comic books. When he says, I might be negative about a comic book, and it's like he'll say to us, well, who's it written for? But because I'm reading a Saturday morning cartoons, it's not written for a 48-year-old man. Do you know what I mean? And I think that with Doctor Who sometimes. No. I don't know who is the target audience for Doctor Who now. Who's watching it? Is it people who've grown up with the series? Families, yeah. It's how do they get that back? How do they reconnect with whatever the core audience is to keep it going for another 50 years or whatever?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do call for the Doctor to be dark and serious and horror, but if you look back on some of the old episodes, they're not all like that. They did have silly episodes as well. The Doctor Who, like I say, has always been a balancing act of having just enough serious episodes and just enough comedy to balance the scale. Yeah, because it always has been a family show. It was never aimed at older people. It was always aimed at families.
I kind of feel like that's what you need. You need your Doctor Who, which is your 7 p.m. Saturday family show. And then for those of us that want maybe a little bit more darker, you kind of split it off and you have a separate series. In my heart of hearts, that's what I was kind of hoping we were going to get with David Tennant. We would have a 7 o'clock show, and then we would have a perhaps darker, more serious show with him, you know. Just before we move on, Sorrell, Declan's just saying David Tennant said he wanted to play Mr. Fantastic. I think that would have been very cool. I do like a bit of David Tennant. You guys, I want to ask, if you look at the original comics, such as early Superman and Lois and other classic heroes, to the new Marvel, I'm a big comic collector, Jess. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but I read a lot of newer stuff. I've got a big love for 90s cheese comics. Interestingly, as I've gone back and reread some of the original classic Marvel comics, and a lot of them don't stand up. If you go back and reread kind of some of the early Spider-Man issues, like from Amazing Spider-Man 1 up to 50, it's not the best, because times change, don't they? Times change, and it's the same as if you go back and watch a classic movie that in your head is amazing, and you watch it 30 years later, quite often you go, oh yeah, that's not the best, you know. So yeah, Bram can't wait for Stranger Things. Me too. We're going to talk about that in a second. Gallifrey and Night, I would love a cinematic movie. I would love a cinematic movie. Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, Sorrell, what have we got?
Right, so we had if you could share my screen for me, I can't put it up. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh, sorry,
yeah. So we did have the ta-dum. It was the Netflix like event this year. They had an audience, and Sophia Carson, who was in Descendants from Disney and other movies. She's been on other movies on Netflix as well. But that's kind of where I know her from. And she hosted it, and basically they had every celebrity you could imagine that was on Netflix were there. It's crazy. They had the entire cast of One Piece, Stranger Things, Wednesday. Like literally, if it was on Netflix, they were there.
Really?
It was insane. Yeah. They commanded some serious money for that event.
You must have spent a fortune on it then.
Yeah. I think it's worked into their contracts, to be honest. I think there's to be something in their contracts when they're hired. They have to turn up for certain Netflix events. Because I think this will be like a new thing going forward. Why have a San Diego Comic-Con panel when you can do your own live event on your own streaming network that half the world owns?
Absolutely.
And it showed trailers and behind the scenes and sneak peeks for a lot of different things. But don't worry, there's going to be no spoilers. We're just going to talk about the kind of things they sort of announced. Because obviously we haven't seen anything yet. So it's going to be good. But we had a sneak peek of the new Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro, I probably butchered that name, but he was there in person with Oscar Isaacs. And they sort of said they're excited for us to see the movie, and they gave us a sneak peek at it. And it looked awesome. The trailer's online now if you want to go watch it. It does look good.
Trailer looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm all over this. I think this is going to be great. Absolutely great. Am I right in thinking that the person playing Frankenstein's monster is Christian Bale? Because you don't really see his face in the trailer at all, do you?
No, it was a young lad. He was there, but I can't remember his name.
I'm sure
Christian Bale's in the movie. He's in it. Yeah, he's in it. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing, though. I didn't see him in anything. He wasn't there for the live event either. It was this young lad who was there because he sort of said he was so excited to be working with Guillermo del Toro, and that he was like a new actor, and he's coming into it, and
I'm sure
they gave him a chance, kind of thing.
I'm sure I've seen an image of Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster. I don't know, maybe he's not. But I thought the trailer.
Isn't there another Frankenstein movie in the works? There's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, and then there's another one in there for Hollywood.
You're absolutely right. He's in the isn't the Bride of Frankenstein coming out?
Yes, I think he's in that. That's Jake Gyllenhaal, and there's a lot of people in that one. Maggie. Yeah.
This looked to me quite close to the classic Frankenstein tale. Yeah, it looked like it had
this is using the book as its base thing, because Guillermo del Toro did say that he was a big fan of Frankenstein growing up. He loved the book, and he's always wanted to make this movie. This is the movie he's always tried to make. So,
yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm holding hope for this one. I think this is going to be good.
Yeah, me too.
Hello. Are we back? I think we're back.
You're back.
Stranger Things is coming. We've got some, and they announced that we're going to be getting the series in November. But then there's also part 2 is going to be over Christmas. and then the finale is going to be New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So there's a lot coming for that series. I'm excited for it.
I am absolutely hype about this. I'm a massive Stranger Things fan. And I think Stranger Things is one of those rare series where each season seems to have getting better and better. The last one was just phenomenal. I hope they land this well. I hope it ends well, you know?
Yeah. Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah. Trailer's great.
Like the army's involved and it's all... Because I thought, is it just going to be them versus the monster kind of thing, and the rest of the world would never knows the tale? But it looks like the army's involved and all sorts is going on. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be quite serious and dark. So I'm quite interested.
Yeah, I can't wait for this. I'm hyper for it. I just hope it ends on the same level of quality as the last season was. You know,
I think that's why they've taken time with it. I think if they'd have rushed it out after series 4, then I'd have been worried. But they've left it so long between seasons. They've filmed it. They've edited it. I think this is going to be solid when it comes out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be stunning. Nice to see you, Flaming Cat. Hope you're well. Meow. Back to you. Fuzzy's just saying this was news today, so I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, it was. I saw that.
Age.
Scary.
I think that kind of plays into what you're saying about Netflix and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm presuming they have to pay a fortune to presenting things at San Diego as well. So yeah. Frankie comes to Hollywood or not. Yeah. Jack says this looks awesome. Looks really awesome. And Flaming Cat is very excited about this.
They had the entire cast of Squid Games there.
Fish Games.
And and they sort of gave a quick preview of series 3 and what's to come, and it looks good. Looks solid again.
Never watched an episode of Squid Games.
What? You need to watch it, mate. You need to watch it. It's amazing. But if you do watch it, please watch it in the original language and read the subtitles. The dub is atrocious.
Yeah, lots of people have told us that.
I hate
need
the
to get
dub.
on this. Yeah, I need to get on it.
We got a little sneak peek of Tony Chopper.
What in the hell is that?
One Piece.
Oh, One Piece. Oh, right.
So this is from One Piece. This is the little doctor character, the little monster character. He's awesome.
So I'm not a big anime manga guy, but a pal of mine is comic lad Simon, and he was recommending One Piece to her before the show came live. I watched the entire season in a couple of nights. I loved it. It was so surprising to us. It's silly. It's easy to watch, but I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this new season. I think it's just good fun. It is just good fun, and I hope, even though it did look silly at points, but I hope Marvel have taken some notice of One Piece, because that's how you do Reed Richards' elastic effects quite well, without it looking ridiculously silly. Because it's let's be honest, it's a hard effect to sell on screen, I think, but One Piece did it pretty well, I think. You know.
Yep, definitely.
People would watch Fish Games. They would watch that.
They would. They would.
Jess likes Stranger Things. Peculiar, weird, but fun. Yeah, same.
So, Wake Up Dead Man. The next of the Knives Out films.
Yeah.
And can you believe that the entire cast were in attendance? Like, Daniel Craig was there. And, like, all the cast were there. Glenn Close and... They were all there, and they were doing this. Oh, they did this really cringy thing where, you know, because it's obviously a mystery, like a murder mystery film. They all are around there, and they were doing that whole. Do you know what's better than one T-shirt cannon? Dun dun dun. It'd cut to another actor and they go 2 T-shirt cannons. Yeah. And they were sort of like, but it's a shame because someone like Glenn Close wouldn't be here for something like this. And it went dun dun dun. It cut to her in her car filming like a thing saying, "Oh no, I'm here, baby. I'm on my way." That kind of stuff. And then the song said, but Daniel Craig wouldn't be here. He's high level Hollywood. Dun dun dun. He like come on screen with a T-shirt cannon. It was nuts. But yeah, they had the entire cast there and they showed the trailer and it does look good. A noir style tale.
I've not seen the trailer yet. I loved the original Knives Out. The last one I probably have to go back and rewatch because I don't remember being blown away by the second one.
It feels like they're just trying to cram as many celebrities in each film as possible now. It's a cameo fest, isn't it, of actors?
Yeah.
This one, the list of people that were in it was insane.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the character. I love a whodunit kind of story. Do you know what I mean? I love a good kind of tale like that. So yeah, we'll check that
The
out.
guy that played Hawkeye is in this one.
Oh, is it
Mila
Jeremy?
Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis is in this one. Glenn Close. The cast was insane.
Okay. We've got loads of comments. I'll come back to you guys once we've gone through some of these slides, and we'll just jump back in a bit. But
Yeah, before we jump onto the toy news, we'll come back and go through the chat.
I am looking forward to this. I like this universe. Like I say, I love a good detective type story. It feels like a long time since I've had a good Sherlock Holmes kind of big screen outing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and then the final sort of big thing was Wednesday. So Lady Gaga is going to be in this series. She's playing one of the professors at the Nevermore Academy, and they had again the entire cast was there, and they came out and Lady Gaga sang a song that I think is going to be featured in it. They didn't sort of say, but I'm assuming it is. It was called like Zombie or something, like Zombie Boy or something.
Okay.
And they showed the first 6 minutes of the first episode. Because most of the trailer, the trailer that we got, Wednesday Series 2 trailer is basically the first episode, I think, because it was mainly all from that first 6 minutes, the trailer.
Okay.
Like her going through the airport, and she sort of does this thing where she's got a gag and it's a voiceover, and she sort of goes, "So, how did I spend my summer? I was locked in the basement of a serial killer." And like things like waiting to pop out with a knife for her to get out and stuff. But yeah, it was like a thing of she's been wanting to chase down this serial killer since she was a kid, and she finally does, and that's how she spent her summer.
Interesting. I mean, I enjoyed the first series. I'm not feeling the excitement for this one just yet. I don't know why. I'll have to watch that first 6 minutes and see what I think.
Well, this series features her brother. He's going to be at the Nevermore Academy this year. It's his first year there, and the entire Adams family are moving in. I think that Nevermore Academy, I think that becomes their home. I think that becomes the Adams family manor at some point. I think that's the idea of this story. I think we're eventually going to find out that academy is their home, and they're going to either kill everyone or kick them all out, like one by one.
So it's not long, this is it? It's not long off, this one, I don't think. I think it's...
fall, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
That was everything from Tudum.
Excellent. Good stuff. Some interesting bits and bobs. Let's just catch up with the chat, and then we'll have a look. We've got Declan. Did you both like the Thunderbolts movie? And he's also looking forward to Stranger Things. Have you seen Thunderbolts yet, Sorrell?
I've not seen it yet, but I'm not that bothered either. I'll catch it on Disney.
I went into it not expecting great things, but I really enjoyed it. It's not amazing. It's not going to set the world alight, but it's a decent, solid flick. The performances are really good in it. The bad guy / good guy is really good in it. It's quite funny at points. I thought the special effects are pretty cool. It felt back on track a little bit after Brave New World, which was just now available on Disney Plus if you want to put yourself through that. But yeah, Thunderbolts is pretty cool. I enjoyed it, Declan. Have you seen it, Declan? Let me know whether you liked it or not in the chat. I think it was pretty solid. Jack, Knives Out has taken a bit of a mental turn. Yeah, I would agree. It seems to have, jumped.
Ducked and dived a bit.
Fish Games, is that not the name of the new Doctor? It is, yeah. One Piece is a massive fan base, yeah. Once you get into it, and it does take some getting into. Yeah, my pal was saying that I think was it like over 100 books or something to read? I'll probably just stick with the show, to be honest. Fuzzy, in terms of Knives Out, I enjoyed the first film. Say again?
Oh, I don't know about the books.
All right. I enjoyed the first film. Didn't deserve a trilogy. I think the second one was a bit flat for me. It'll be interesting to see if it comes back for the third. One Piece was class, blitzed through it all on a weekend. Looking forward to a second season. I'm the same, Sean.
Yeah, they said on that event, they said it had like 100 million streams in the first year or something, of it being online or something like that. It was ridiculous anyway. It's like 100 million views or something it got.
That's incredible. Guys, who would you compare comic heroes to a future Doctor Who? Got to be Reed Richards, hasn't it? Got to be Reed Richards, I would have thought. Yeah, he's your kind of your... I think the Doctor's got to be the cleverest guy in the room, even though he doesn't necessarily rub it in your face all the time. So I would go with someone like Reed, I would have thought.
Yeah.
You going with Reed as well, do you think?
Probably.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else. Like,
No.
Other than
Trying to
like
think who would sit
Xavier.
in it. Yeah. John Constantine. That would certainly be an interesting season of Doctor Who. Yeah, yeah.
Imagine Keanu Reeves as Doctor Who. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, God, I love a bit of Keanu, but he just plays Keanu, let's be honest. Absolutely. Oh, Nick Cage is the Doctor. That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Oh my, like the TARDIS, it just kind of appeared. Daleks are back again.
Loved Wednesday, dark, creepy, gorgeous Wednesday. 10 out of 10. Can't wait for season 2. Yeah, I'm hoping it's good. I am hoping it's good. AB's asking, what's your opinion on the Child's Play franchise? I have to be honest, I've not watched the TV series. I don't know if you have, Sorrel.
Yes, you definitely need to. It's amazing.
I
love it. I love the cheesy. See, I know a lot of people go back to the original Child's Play, which was a straight up horror, and then it started going a bit campy and silly. But I grew up on the Bride of Chucky. I didn't know there were, as a kid, I didn't know there were films before that. I assumed that was the first Chucky movie. You know what I mean? It took me a long time to go back and watch the originals. So I've always had Chucky as the, the swearing little loudmouth, little horrible doll. And I love that. And I like Tiffany and I like all the silliness.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of stopped, I think, before it went totally crazy silly.
Yeah.
I think the last one I saw, in terms of the movies, was they were in some kind of country house. I think it was a little girl in a wheelchair or something.
Oh yeah. So that's one of the later films that goes back to being a horror again.
Right. Okay.
There was like three, I think it was like 2 or 3 films where they did like a revival of Chucky and they were straight to DVD kind of thing. Yeah. But they were okay. They kind of lead into the television series, if I'm honest.
Yeah. We've got Shelley. Nice to see you, Shelley. Hope you are well. Shelley saying Bruce Banner for our future Doctor Who. That would be cool. That would be cool. Sean, although he's too old now, imagine for a moment Christopher Walken.
That voice.
Just the voice is, that would be tremendous.
Oh no.
Okay. Jess is saying, Chucky and his girlfriend hilarious with a chainsaw. Okay, Sorrel. Toy news.
Yeah. So, there we go. So we're gonna get some Beetlejuice pops, another round of Beetlejuice. But it's the baby Beetlejuice I'm most looking forward to out of that lot.
I like the look of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying I like the look of that. I'm not a pops man, but yeah, that looks pretty. Wolf Jackson, who was that again?
You've got the glow in the dark Wolf Jackson. He was one of the.
Yeah, it was.
Was he not the detective or something?
Yeah, trying to remember the actor. William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Was it William Dafoe?
William Dafoe. Yeah, William Dafoe. And then you've got Bob as Beetlejuice in The Office, where he kind of dressed up as Beetlejuice. Yeah. But I'm sorry, but the winner of this, it's baby Beetlejuice. Look at that. I want that as a little pop on my shelf.
So does that glow in the dark? Did you say?
The Wolf Jackson one does apparently. It says glow in the dark on the label. Look.
Okay.
Wow. I think it's the little green part on his head.
The patches glow on his head. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you've got Casper Pops coming out. The fact that these aren't glow in the dark is criminal.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all, does it?
But you got Casper, and then obviously you got his uncles. I'm definitely getting Casper and the uncles. But then you've got Cat's character, and then the chase. So one in so many of the Caspers will be the human Casper. Okay. So you might order it on Amazon as thinking you're going to get the ghost guy, and then all of a sudden you get the human one. I'd be mad at that. I'm honest. I want the proper.
Yeah.
I want proper Casper. I don't want the kid.
One's it's a pretty bland figure, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not particularly exciting.
Both of the human ones are. I'm not getting either of them.
I can't understand why.
If you stood her on her own, no, it makes no sense. If you stood both human characters on their own, you would not think Casper in a million years.
I would have thought Titanic, Jack and
Rose. Jack and Rose.
Yeah. Interesting. The ghosts look good, but the ghosts do look good.
A couple of Elvira's coming out for Halloween. Elvira on the broom, very much like not Wicked, Bewitched.
Yeah,
She's on the broom and she says that's like Bewitched, and then you've got her laying down in a classic pose with a pumpkin for Halloween. Because she always has, because she's got 2 big pumpkins. You know what I'm saying? So, Ghostbusters 2 pops. We got Vigo and the Ghostbusters from the Ghostbusters 2. The fact that Funko are making Ghostbusters 2, and we have got a Ghostbusters Day coming up. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday on Nerd News. But we have got a Ghostbusters Day coming up next Saturday. And
Okay.
if all the merch has suddenly switched to Ghostbusters 2, is that where Hasbro's going to go for their announcements?
Maybe.
Because we've only ever had the Plasma series give us the original Ghostbusters. So if they give us Vigo and the second round of Ghostbusters, I'd be all for that.
I want a big Vigo painting, you know, for the door behind us here.
I'd
I
be
think
all
that would look cool, a Vigo painting. Might have to hunt one of those out. Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I was upset that Vigo came without the painting in the background. I wanted his background of his box to be the painting. These are only product images though, so it may, you know, they may change it, but I'm hoping they've got the big border.
I'm surprised that, you know how they did the like the comic book ones where you get the comic book background with the figure in front of it. You could have done that with Vigo, couldn't you? And had the kind of the image behind him would look cool.
So what Funko do is they're very much like Marvel Legends. They will give you this lot first, and then they'll come out with a bunch of other ones later on once you've bought these.
Yeah, right. Okay. Sneaky.
That's still a possibility that they'll do the big art card one. What else we got? Then we've got a Lego Miles Morales mask coming out. This is the first look at that. That does look snazzy.
Do you think?
Yeah, I'd get a bit of that. I like that.
I'm not a big Lego fan. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It does look pretty cool. But immediately I'm just thinking of my big fat chubby fingers trying to build that and exploding all over the place. It's interesting, these masks.
Oops, sorry.
It's interesting, these mask things that they're doing now. They do look pretty interesting, I guess. Sorry, I've seen those NECA figures. Yeah. Put them back on screen.
What have they done?
They are
NECA are normally pretty good with likeness, but who is that, and why is it in my Wednesday film? Hang on, let me. Why is that?
I mean, they're awful, just awful. Like you say, NECA normally have really strong head sculpts. None of them look good.
What is that? I didn't realize Andre the Giant had a wig. That's atrocious, isn't it?
I kind of.
I was really excited for NECA making the Ultimate Series Wednesday. I got so excited, thinking, yes, she'll fit in with all my horror stuff. She'll look awesome on the shelf. Nope, they look atrocious. I'm not buying them.
I wouldn't be picking any of them up. They just look rough.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold out for a Mondo instead now.
Yeah. That blonde one looks like Robin Williams. Yeah, they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. I mean, that's. I would imagine NECA's getting some strong feedback from the fan base about these figures because their figures are normally so good. That's atrocious. Absolutely atrocious.
Mate, I know you love a good plushie, and I know Fuzzy Dunlop loves a good plushie when I bring them up. So, Squishmallows is teaming up with Chucky.
What in the hell is a Squishmallow? What's a Squishmallow?
So they're them little plushies that are just a round sort of shape. They're a little squishy, and they've done all sorts of crossovers with them. I think I showed you one the other week on my channel, and it was the Five Nights at Freddy's ones, and it looked atrocious.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Well, they're gonna butcher Chucky now and Tiffany. So
marvelous.
As Fuzzy says, tat. But
yeah.
Those Wednesday figures look like rejects from Wednesday Town as well. Jag says, I love that.
Yeah.
They do. They do.
And
the last kind of big. Sorry, mate.
Sorry. Shelley's just saying the Lego Spider-Man series looks awesome. And Bethany needs Tully in his grey suit as a pop. That would be cool. We've got My Gizmo Chicken and I. Nice to see you. Hope you are well. So, Jack, the Ghostbuster 2 figures. Sorry, but the Ghostbuster 2 figures are tied in the HasLab, but we could maybe get Vigo and the Goober that stalks down. Okay, interesting. Sorry, you were saying, bud.
What Shelley's saying there, the Lego CMF, they're the minifigures, so the blind bag minifigures that you get. There's been a leak this week that we're getting Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse minifigure line, so you'll get a blind bag and it'll be different Spider-Men. There's like 12 to collect. But the thing is, I know, and they're blind bagged as well. They'll be lovely for your shorts, mate. But the thing is, I can't show the image, Shelley, on here because Lego will come down like a sack of spuds on both channels. They don't like leaks, Lego, and they tend to sue people. Okay. So does Mattel. Mattel are a bit sue happy as well. You'll get a message saying cease and desist, and then they make you take the video down. So it's not worth it. But yes, they have come out, Shelley, and I'm well excited for them. And I'm gonna get good Pete on them. Pete is gonna have a blind bag. of a Spider-Man. I'm sure he is.
I'm sure I will.
He's going to see mine and see that there's a little tiny dinosaur Spider-Man and be all over it. Ultimate Street Fighter, the final challenges. We're getting Vega now. The Vega's one of the final figures in the line. I think there's not many left. I don't think now. I think Honda and a couple of others, but we're getting Vega. He's officially announced. We know they're all coming, but he's been officially announced now, and he does look cool. There's an unmasked head as well, where you can put the mask in his hand and put his hand up like the classic fight pose, like the winning pose. So I'm excited for these.
They are cool figures, aren't they? That does look good. I like that.
Jada are smashing it with these toys. Oh, no, Fuzzy, no.
Excellent. Some interesting toy news, but we are going to be doing more toy news. So this Tuesday over on my channel, we've got Let's Talk Toys with myself, Sorrell, James T. Keegan, and comic lad Simon. Dear God, let's see what Simon brings to the mix this time. Yeah. And then on Tuesday, we'll be adding a little bit more toy news over on Sorrell's channel when we do, not Midweek Geek, we do
Nerd News on Wednesday.
Nerd News on Wednesday. So looking forward to that.
But Nerd News isn't just toys, though. We will talk movies, entertainment, and all that good stuff. And don't worry, because we understand that there's a lot of people that do crossover with both channels, like Shelley and Fuzzy and Jack. And there's a lot of people that watch both of our channels now, which is awesome. So we kind of are making sure that the slides we've shared today, you won't see on Tuesday. You know what I mean? And the slides we share on my Wednesday won't feature on Pete's going forward. We're trying to keep it fresh every time we go live.
Yeah, there's going to be no repetition. We're going to try our very best to make sure that we do different stuff because we're enjoying doing these joint shows together. So hopefully we'll get more of that, but it'll keep you guys interested.
It will.
Sorrell, just before we go, have you got anything else coming up over on your channel that you want to mention?
Yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to be at the Harry Potter studio tour in London. So exciting. I'll be posting a video when I come back of my day. We'll have like a vlog video, and then obviously I'll do a haul video of all the stuff my wife picks up because she's a massive Harry Potter fan. She's been building the Legos on my channel recently. I've been filming her Legos, and the shelf she's got is insane. There's a lot of money on that shelf, but I can't talk because I'm just as bad. Yeah. So there's all that coming up on my channel this week. What about you?
You've done Harry Potter before, haven't you? So important question. Butterbeer, yes or no?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, me too. I loved the butterbeer, but it seemed to be. I've been to the one in Florida a few times, but I went to the London one with Efren and James T. Keegan, and the butterbeer was a bit. Some people liked it, some people hated it. But they did ice cream as well. Butterbeer ice cream.
Yeah, butterbeer ice cream, and they've now got butterbeer fudge. And they've also, because I know you love a bit of fudge from our time at Comic Con.
Love a bit of fudge.
And we've got you can get a butterscotch latte now, so like a butterbeer latte, which I'm going to try that this time, I think.
Nice. Fuzzy says you're off to play with your wand. Lovely.
I am going to go play with my wand, yeah, with other wizards as well.
What a team. Absolutely. Jess is saying thank you guys for the entertainment and the chat. Good stuff. I'm glad you joined, Jess. Thank you for that. Fuzzy saying Tango and Cash. Wasn't one of them a dog? Was Tango? Am I thinking of the wrong film? No, I'm thinking Turner and Hooch. I think
you are.
Yeah. So on my channel, and Sorrell, I know you've got memberships on your channel as well, but over on my channel we've got memberships. If anyone's interested in that, please do have a little look-see at it. Few videos that I've done recently about a fake Jim Lee sketch. I've been talking a lot about that. Some G-spots. You've thrown us now with your G-spots comment, Mr. Sorrell. So yeah, I also got some CGC graded books with some artwork by Mark Spears. We did a comics, toys and reviews show earlier in the week, and we've got my pop culture playback on one of my favourite all-time shows, Quantum Leap. Love that series. So yeah, so please do check those out. This Tuesday, as we mentioned, we've got TripleG Tuesdays, toys, Let's Talk Toys and more. So yeah, please join me for that. Should be a fun show. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about. Sorrell sent us his slides already, as has James Keegan. We've got some interesting 1/6 scale stuff to talk about as well. And I'm going to get a little bit controversial on it, Sorrell. Well, not controversial. Talk about a challenging subject in that in the toy world, in the 1/6 world, we've had a bit of a bad run lately with biggish toy sellers taking people's money and then disappearing. So luckily I've not been stung by that, but we're going to talk a little bit about that because it's a bit of an interesting one. And that's it. That's your whack. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Sorrell for jumping on here short notice. Like I say, we weren't planned this, but as ever, it's always fun spending time with you, Sorrell. But an absolutely huge thank you to everybody that's joined from my channel and from Sorrell's channel, kept the chat going. Both me and Sorrell absolutely love doing these shows for the interaction. We love you guys talking. Whatever your opinions, whatever your views, this is a safe space to voice them. And we always love listening to other people's thoughts and comments. So we really do appreciate that. Please, 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 if you're not a subscriber to both channels, have a little look-see at our content. And if you like what, hit your subscribe and notification button. And let's get Sorrell to 100,000. Because you get your fancy play button then.
I know, I get my fancy play button.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
That would be fab. That would be, because I don't know anybody that I talk to, you know, that's hit the 100,000 mark. So please, please do support Sorrell with that. Okie dokie. That's your whack. Thank you very much for chanting, everybody, and we will catch you on the next show. See you. Bye.
The curtains close. It's time to go. We really hope you enjoyed the show. Check out my channel for more geeky fun and hit like, subscribe before you run. All that remains is our thanks to you from TripleG and his YouTube crew. We really do hope you come on back, but for now, that's your whack. Yeah, that's your whack.